Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. Not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off. Yes, it's Grandpa David, and thank you for being a friend. Happy National Popcorn Day. And unfortunately, I found out too late in the day that it was National Popcorn Day. But please, before the day is over, enjoy some popcorn. There was one time in my life I probably ate popcorn every day. I thought it was always a good thing to put in my body, so I ate a lot of it. And I have to say, share with you an email that I got at about somewhere between 3 and 3:30 this morning. My order, it's a long, about 20 letters and numbers and characters, has been placed for my COVID-19 test, and it will start shipping in late January. And I get 4 tests that are being sent to my home, and there is no shipping and handling, and it's costing me zero. I was really quite amazed at how COVID test dot COVID home test dot gov. I think that's what it's, because this is a postal service confirmation. Anyways, get your free COVID test. Google it. You'll get to the .gov site. I was actually very, very impressed in how quickly, how everything loaded real quickly, how I got an email confirmation very quickly, no snafus, although, and today was the first day that they could be ordered, and I wanted to be one of the first million to order, so I got up to order my test. But I was real impressed with how it was done. We'll see how it goes. I guess if 500 tests were, or 500 million tests were ordered, and every address gets 4 test kits. They're targeting 125 million homes. I guess, yeah, 125 million homes. It's going to be a very interesting database. I wonder who's going to have access to that database. But we'll see how it works out. Yesterday, I went to the Hamilton County, the municipal court area, and I filed a suit. So I am the plaintiff in a suit against the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. And I used the address of the Ohio Attorney General because they are familiar. I contacted them probably 6 weeks ago about my concerns. And we'll see how that all plays out. Real briefly, I don't want to go into too much detail because as I'm preparing my arguments, actually there's not a whole lot to prepare. It's pretty straightforward details. I'm finding unbelievable discrepancies. Um, Actually, the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services filed a form to the IRS. I saw a copy of it yesterday or the day before, claiming I had uh, gotten so much money from them, and it's absolutely, positively a falsehood. I did not get anywhere near what they're saying, and I know how they got the number, and it's going to be very interesting. But what I'm trying to get at is I'm not quite sure. Um, where I'm going to go with the thing. I wanted to be on record as establishing myself, and so that's why I filed it. I did file it in small claims court. Small claims court has a limit on how much money can be awarded. I am going after um, unemployment money that was not paid to me, very clearly not paid to me, and punitive damages because of something of harassment that I was going through with the Ohio Department. So I'm not sure how it's all going to play out. I may take a different route that I'm taking, but the case is scheduled for March 1st at 9:30 in the morning. So we'll see where that goes. Okay, I wanted to share for 50 years, 50 plus years, uh, I have been involved in marketing and sales, and uh, inherent in any marketing and sales strategy, program, system concern is that excellent, outstanding customer care exists. And I've set up a lot of marketing and sales projects over the years and pride myself on the customer care environments that I have established on behalf of clients, and also just me providing customer care uh, to the client themselves, my own customer care to them. And uh, it's very, very important to me, and I've been doing it for a long time, and I appreciate good customer care that I get as a end user, as a consumer, as a user, and I wanted to share a few experiences that I had. Uh, ju- they all happened last weekend. All three of these experiences happened last weekend, and they're not in any kind of special order. But I did a Whole Foods delivery order on Saturday or Sunday. I don't remember which day, and um, they were advertising a special price on uh, whole ducks. And I have uh, done quite a few things with just duck breast, but I have never worked with a whole duck. And so I wanted to see what that was all about. So I ordered one, and they gave me a choice of how many pounds I wanted to be, and I said 2 pounds. Well, I get the order, and the duck they sent was a 5 pound duck, very expensive. That obviously caught my eye. I only ordered two, and they delivered five. I said, "Well, oh, maybe they made a mistake." Well, then I actually read the label. Uh, that's how I got the price and the weight and etc. And saw that the sell by date had been missed by 3 days. I mean, I got it 3 days after the sell by date, and I'm pretty sure it's against the law to sell anything beyond a sell by date, particularly meats and what have you, things that could spoil. So uh, I don't know if you're an Amazon customer in general. Uh, I've been a Prime customer for several years, and it's an extremely valuable service I get from Amazon. But in buying their whole food and doing their whole foods, actually, now that I think about it, it might not. Yes, it was Whole Foods. I tried Fresh, their Fresh division, for the first time after the Whole Foods order wasn't quite right. But anyway, so Amazon is great if you have a complaint. If you are not a happy customer, you fill out a form, and they're really good on refunding. Uh, and if you give a legitimate excuse, and they give you a list, and then you have to comment specifically about why you are asking for a refund. And so I got the refund total, but I ended up using the duck anyway. I figured I couldn't be too far off because obviously it had been frozen, and uh, maybe that's why this. I don't know. It didn't matter. I use it, and I've got to tell you, I make from scratch uh, broth every week, and I add to it and do it all week long. So uh, it starts in the usually on Sundays. I start it, and then use it and fix it and add to it and make it taste better, what have you. But the broth I made with the duck breasts that I use, the bones, was better than any chicken bones I've ever used. I was really quite taken by it, and we'll have to do it again in the future. So that's the Whole Foods. Um, Had another really interesting experience. You heard me talk. I don't know, last week or the week before. I did several postings on that I was getting back to my roots. I was finally going to be spending my time doing things, establishing one-on-one relationships with companies that I pick, I vet, I research, I find where their marketing and sale, or I interpret their marketing and sales to be, and uh, pick those companies with project ideas. That's how I work. And I was real excited because you've heard me talk about uh, our New World Institute for Creative Marketing and Sales. That's what has evolved in the last 2 years, and so I was actually uh, picking. I had a targeted industry in mind, and as I looked at that industry, I found a list, and lo and behold, I found uh, a friend's name on the list as the managing partner of the company here uh, in Cincinnati. And not only was he a friend, he was I was a client of his at one time. But at any rate, I was able to craft a very special presentation because I knew Alan would react to it in a certain way. I came up with some new thoughts, new ideas of how about how I wanted to present the things. At any rate, I sent uh, important to the project is a postcard. You've heard me talk about the postcard, show you the postcard, and lo and behold, I sent one out with the whole thing, and it was tied into a web landing page, et cetera, et cetera. And I hadn't heard back from Alan uh, about he had gotten it, he had seen it, and what his thoughts were. And lo and behold, I went to my mailbox, I think on Saturday, and the postcard was never delivered. So, it came back to me. It was never delivered to Alan. It came back to me, and it just so happens that I ran into the postmaster of or the highest, the managing person in the post office up the street, where I actually had mailed a postcard and showed him, and I've talked to him a couple of different times and showed him, and he said, "Well, I can tell you right away that." Uh, well, the address was. I took some notes here. The address was not. Here's the card I actually sent Alan. The address, I'd cleared it with the post. I was saying I had taken up their design, my design, taken up to them and said, "Will this work?" Da 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 da, yada, da. So I did it. But when it came time, and they told me it would work. When it came time for the machine to read my return address, it couldn't read it, so it sent it back to me. It was able to see the return address, but it didn't read it. I don't know. So the postmaster said that he would look into it and would give me a call, but I haven't heard back from him yet. I'll have to follow up on that. And the final situation I wanted to share was just totally incredible. Um, I have been on Medicare since, well, for 7 years. This will be my 8th year on Medicare. And the very first year, I did not have a I didn't do an advantage program or a supplement program. I wanted to see how the existing um, Medicare program existed based upon my all my needs for good coverage with all the various things I've got going on. So uh, I went to a broker. I got connected with a broker the second year of my program, and I filled out a 2-page uh, questionnaire on my needs, how I needed a medical program in general. And then it was his job as a broker to go out and find uh, the company that would best satisfy my needs. And I like dealing with brokers. I highly recommend a broker if you have access to one, as opposed to a captured um, uh, uh, captivated individual, person who only sells for one underwriter. My broker represented 6 different companies and picked out the best. And the company he picked out for me was a company called Medical Mutual. They're corporately located in Cleveland, Ohio, but they only write insurance, underwrite insurance in the state of Ohio. And they were an outstanding choice for me because they had an HMO agreement with the hospital where all my work has been done. So it was a very simple transition for me. At any rate, I've been very pleased with them. And a couple weeks ago, I got a card every January or late December. They send me a new card for the year. And I looked at the card and I looked at the card and I looked at the card. I said, "My goodness, I can't believe with uh, older folks they've created a typeface that was a point at the point size that was so small." And so what I did when I got it, I took the last year's card and I stapled the two together in case I ever had to use them and show them to somebody. Wow, I'm telling you this because last weekend I got a letter from Medical Mutual Uh, Dear David, thank you for being a Medical Mutual Advantage member. Over the past few weeks, you received a new member ID card for Medical Mutual. After listening to feedback from members like you about these new cards, we made some enhancements to the ID card design. We think you'll find the enclosed card easier to read and includes a helpful snapshot of your plan benefits. And yes, so the point I'm trying to make is they are such a good company. They heard from, uh, and they responded real quickly. It hadn't been 2 weeks from the time that the card I received the original card, so I got the updated new card. Less than 2 weeks. Uh, and so I was just smiled because once again they demonstrated great customer care. They listened to their customers. What a novel idea to listen to your customers. Okay, let's see what else I wanted to share this evening. One last thing, I haven't spent as much time as I wanted to sharing a book that I love, written by a friend of mine. The book is titled Intentional by David Amerlin: How to Live, Love, Work, and Play Meaningfully. If you go to a web landing page that I created with David called intentional.expert. You'll go to a page that I created. There are 3 videos on the page. The top video is a 1 hour discussion I had with David on the book. Then David, the second video is a section where he changes every week. He has a huge following around the world in cyberspace, around the world, and every week he blogs some very philosophical, uh, wonderful, thought provoking. David understands um, the mind brain body relationship as well as anybody I've ever met. He's not a neuroscientist, although I'm sure he can communicate with the very best neuroscientists. He is a chemical engineer by training, but uh, does not. I mean, he's very, very, very philosophical. But this is the first book uh, that I have totally understood virtually everything that he was saying first time. Although I'm now reading it for the second time, I enjoyed it so much, and I wanted to share some of the thoughts that I had. Um, just to review an earlier statement, he has 11 chapters in the book. And one thing that it's the first time he's ever done with his books. All of his chapter titles are one word. Um, they are uh, life, identity, goals, motivation, behavior, beliefs, values, grit, attitude, mindset, happiness. And then he breaks down each one of those, asks a lot of questions. He actually tells you how to use the book, which I find wonderful. He's he's never done that really with any of his other books. He tells about his story and how he writes. But life, it's such a great place to start. He talks about the value that we bring, that we see as we communicate with ourselves, as we communicate with the rest of the world, what value there is in life. we tend to communicate, or we should communicate with those folks who bring the greatest value to our lives. Uh, that's when it's going to be a very positive growth and development. So I'd like to share with you the three questions that David asked for chapter one life, and great things to think about. Are you happy with your life as it is right now? If not, which is the one thing you can realistically change that will give you a greater sense of control? I simply answer right now. I am living my dream, and so obviously, very happy, very content. Um, I don't know if there's anything I would change that would give me a greater sense of control. I feel that I have pretty good control over myself. How do you plan your life? Maybe do not. What's on the hour? Is it? The clock is off. That was. I've got to see what time the clock says. That was a blue jay. I'm try to learn all the sounds. Blue jay, they're mean birds. I don't know before I ever heard this, if I ever really heard a blue jay, but I've watched them, and they're not nice. Anyways, how do you plan your life? I do a lot of planning. I write things down. I am well into uh, uh, what's going to happen with my business efforts and energies. Right now, I'm well into it. It's going to be the most productive, fascinating, wonderful year, 2022, and we'll share with you the things that are happening along the way. Question number three: how do you define value in your life? What is it that you constantly need to or try to build so that you can feel your life is worth it? Uh, I think the time that you spend doing Facebook things, you wouldn't necessarily spend that time if you did not uh, find certain value with it. So that's why you do it, I guess. I don't know. Um, I have a specific strategy that I use with Facebook based upon what it is I'm trying to accomplish with it, based upon the technology that I have to use to make things happen, what I want to happen. So it's of great value to me to do the things that I do, and that's why I spend the time doing it. And then of course it's really gratifying, and I sincerely thank you for. Actually, it's not 19 minutes of your time anymore. We're almost at 29 minutes right now. 29 minutes of your time. Thank you. uh, for the time that we've spent together. I hope I hope that I've been able to create some kind of value for you, and that we will see you again very soon. And as you know, I like to say, well, thank you for being a friend, and I will see you the next time, which may very well be, as Jaime Williams used to say, the best time. We'll see you then.